ready with the tech? Good. All right, calling to order the February meeting of the Fairport Municipal Commission. Could we have the roll call?
Commissioner Jordan?
Present.
Commissioner Duligash?
Present.
Commissioner Keefe?
Present.
Commissioner Shalaba?
Here.
Chairperson Keefe? Or Stuckey, sorry.
Here. Well, welcome everybody, and then we have one member from the audience.
Yes, my name is Dan Higgins.
Great, welcome. Did you have anything to share with the group?
No?
Okay. Yep. Welcome. All right, unfinished business. First up would be the minutes from the January 13 meeting. Any questions, corrections?
Okay.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
All right. That passes unanimous. On to new business. We have first up Meridian software mitigation or migration update.
So Meridian has changed names a few times. This is a software we've used for over 20 years. This is everything from work orders, payroll, utility billing, inventory. It encapsulates all of basically what Fairport Electric does. So there's been a pretty massive software update that we actually started a couple years ago. And then they stopped it, they paused it. It was an early beta version. They realized that maybe we weren't the best fit for it. So we kind of started the training and then they paused us. Now we're back into it. So staff's been really, really busy. They have to complete most of their online training by the end of this month. And then we have on-site Meridian employees for about 3 weeks over the course of April. And then beginning of May, we go live with inventory, warehousing, work orders, and then beginning of June, we go live with utility billing. So it'll be a big lift. There'll definitely be a lot of hours involved, and it's completely different. I mean, unfortunately, it's so bills will look the same. It's just how we get the bills put together. So much more web-based, which is all good. Things. It was an older software platform, but so yes. Having to be busy and just trying to keep everyone in the loop that, that's one of the things that staff's working on presently.
Is there any cost impact with that?
Costs pretty much remain the same. It's same vendor, same. It's just a new software platform. There will be some overtime as we, go live and implement these weekends and things like that, but not much.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? Great, Nikki.
You're welcome.
Next up, we have an update on the Hogan substation.
So we are making progress. We are behind on this. This is one of the major retrofits that we had we planned to start in June. Unfortunately, the vendors getting quotes, and once we got into the details, things slowed down. We have ordered the 8 distribution breakers at this time. Delivery is about a year. So we will go a little longer than our original timetable was scheduled. We're still working on the 3,000 amp main breakers, working through details. Building foundation drawing is complete. We'll start working with vendors, builders to start the building structure that needs to go up this spring. So it is making progress, but we are behind. What was originally supposed to be a 12 to 18 month project will probably more become a 12 to 24 month project. By the time we wrap up. So 2 engineers, John and Gavin, have been very busy digging into details on this, working with the consultants, but it is moving. It's just slower than as expected. So that's your update.
Questions? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next up, could we have an update on the AMI meters?
So we are 44% complete. We've set, as of Friday evening, 8,092 meters. This has all been done in-house, with the line crews, along with maintaining the other line work they need to do. Going well. We were able to build a pretty nice system for the changeouts. We were able to automate a lot of this for the office. Originally what we thought we were gonna have to, when you go change a meter at someone's house, you need to take their old meter, you final. You take a reading, you have to final out that account, and then you set the new meter and you start it. This was gonna be a lot of data input for the office staff. We were able to automate a lot of that. So this kind of happens in the background. So they've made good progress. They've been setting over 150 meters a day. Top day was, I think, 372 meters. As you get into apartment complexes, they're pretty efficient. So going well. The second half, so there's another 9,000 meters arriving this week. So that'll be the complete of the order, and then we need to be done by May 31st with this. And part of that is for us to do our software update in the beginning of June. We need to be complete with this meter change out just for everything to work. So they're making good progress. Like I said, we're at 44% complete. Pretty much 3/4 of the apartment complexes are complete at this time. We're starting to get into the village this week, so you'll start to see staff, we're doing the same reach out we've done. We've sent an original letter. We then send out Everbridge notifications 24 to 48 hours in advance for the people that have signed up for that, and then we'll knock on the door. As a last resort, as people working from home, and then we work with them to set a schedule. So making good progress. That job is on schedule at this point.
How long is power typically out for that change?
Less than a minute. By the time we knock on the door and we pull the meter and put the new one in, it's actually less than a minute. They're actually out of power.
Wow.
And we found a lot of the services are owned by the customers. And unfortunately, you don't look at these when you read these meters automatically. You don't look at them. We did find some in disrepair. We're working with the customers so they can schedule electricians to get this work complete. In the near future. So.
Great. Thank you. Other questions?
Good.
Great, thank you. All right, next up, can you fill us in on vacancies for mechanics and line workers?
So we had one mechanic leave us. Had been with us for about 2 years. He ended up going back to the company he had worked with previously. So big loss. We had done quite a bit of training with him. We have scheduled interviews. We're actually starting to interview today for someone else. We had pretty good response to our advertisements, some pretty good applications. So hoping to make a hire relatively quickly for the mechanic position. Line worker, we've had 2 leave us over the last 6 or 8 months. We had not filled them as we worked through a couple other issues, but at this time we are going to advertise for the 2 vacancies and start to interview over the next 30 days and try to get them back up to full staff going forward.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and then next up, EV charger update.
EV chargers. So this certainly piqued a lot of interest between residents. This was one of those things that this was always the plan that we had received free chargers, free electric, free Wi-Fi, free networking. When we got to that point, it was going to have to be paid for. So unfortunately, we approached that January 1. That was implemented. What we saw was the first 2 weeks of January didn't see an awful lot of change in the status of people charging.
Well, the the cost didn't go in until mid-January, right?
So first 2 weeks of the paid, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So
Okay.
once we started charging, we didn't see the immediate drop off we expected. And part of that was, I think some of it may have been a little bit of operator error. People with the app were used to just hitting the buttons, get the car charging, and then after about 2 weeks, we saw this drastic drop off like we expected. So at this point, we have had 655, and this goes back to January 1, so 655 charging sessions to present. Average plugged in time was about 4 hours and 11 minutes. Average time charging was 3 hours, 51 minutes. Revenue, we have collected about $2,600 for this. If you remember, what this revenue needs to pay for is the networking charges for the 26 chargers. Needs to pay for the electric, and then needs to pay for 20% replacement, so we can replace these 5-year schedule. We removed 2 of the chargers that had already failed, so we went from 28 to 26. So we'll continue to look at this, as we get closer to the break-even number, we can start to adjust that, cost per kilowatt hour. That is the plan. But, we need to make this revenue neutral. So we'll look at this quarterly, and we'll keep everyone in the loop. But we talked to a lot of residents, talked to a lot of customers. They did understand once we explained it. I could have done a better job. I could have done a better job doing that. I just, at this point, it has, people are aware of it now, and we'll move forward, doing the break-even charge. So.
What kind of communication did we end up doing?
So we had reached out, and a lot of the communication actually comes through the app.
Yeah.
Because you need the app to charge even when it was free, we thought that was going to be sufficient for kind of that social response to the customers. And, I think more public reach out may have been better at this point. But not knowing, we knew how many charge sessions, but we don't know, what's made up. Is it the same car that makes up a lot of those? How many individual customers? And a lot of it were individual residents of the village that happened to come down, plug their car in, walk home, for the free charging. And those people have, moved back into their garages and done those things. So, we did expect that. We're seeing that. So, like I said, we have talked to quite a few, and as they reach out, I continue to talk to them.
Other questions?
When we evaluate quarterly, Matt, like, will we be posting, like, if we make an adjustment or not, like, to kind of communicate that out so people are, I feel like some of the frustration that I saw, online was about, like, not understanding the charge, and maybe if we say quarterly, we looked at it and we saw this and we think we should adjust this type of thing, is that something we're looking to do?
We surely can. It's where do we post it? We can post it on our website, but the people are pulling out their app to go charge their car. Are they going to go look at the website to see what the price is when the first screen that pops up when you start to charge is the pricing? We're going to try to put a message on that, say,
Okay.
we've recently adjusted up or down the price for this, because it could go either way. We still need to hit this break-even number. We thought we were going to hit this 25% use. If we don't, obviously the price will need to go higher.
Yep.
Thank you. Next up, announcement about the MEUA Accounting and Finance Workshop.
Yeah, these two are just to save the dates. If any of the commissioners are interested in going, just let us know. We'll get you registered. The Accounting and Finance Workshop is a 1.5-day session. It's a full day the first day, and then a half day the second day. The semi-annual is similar. It's a 1.5-day session. It was more just trying to get dates on everyone's calendars. I know they fill up very quickly with family events and everything else.
Is that in Syracuse?
They're both in Syracuse, yes. And we do have, we'll have the minivans going down, so obviously, people need to carpool or whatever, we can certainly arrange that.
Do you have deadlines for signing up for those?
The registration for the Accounting and Finance Workshop just came out. I think I have a couple weeks to register. The other one is not out yet.
Okay.
As soon as I see them, I can forward them to you.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next up, the resolution for expressing opposition to preference power changes.
So this is an interesting one. The MEUA, the group of the electric municipalities in New York State, have continued to talk to the Power Authority. We realize that their infrastructure is old, needs to be updated, replaced, refurbished. The way they went about and shared the information was not so forthcoming. They actually filed for this rate increase on Christmas Eve. That started the public comment. So you can just imagine, pretty much on Christmas Eve through New Year's, we've lost 2 weeks. You know, so we have about a week where public comment ends. So, like I said, we're not against that, we know they need something for refurbishment, it's how they do it. They had held, on their choice, they decided to hold the rates for quite a long time here. Instead of ramping these up slowly, they now want to throw in this very large increase, which will affect our customers. You know, when we talk, you know, to our industrials, you know, these are the tune of more than $1 million a year, you know, for industrials. You know, our residentials, these are large changes. So what we're doing is we're just trying to dot our i's and cross our t's as a group of the municipalities. You know, hopefully we can work through this with NIPA. The commissioners have been around for any period of time. You can remember, you know, as a group, we've had to do litigation with the Power Authority over these issues. We hope it doesn't come to that. You know, it's not Fairport by themselves, it is, you know, the group. So we'll keep you in the loop as things come up, but we would like a resolution basically just stating the opposition of how this happened. You know, so we need a motion and second, and we can file this. And we've asked all the electric municipalities to do the same thing, so we can all share the same message.
Matt, was there any strategy, I was following this fairly closely from Jim Stokes and MEUA, and how this is structured as far as, you know, the years and the charges?
That's the part they haven't been forthcoming with.
Okay.
You know, if they would share their true costs, it's easier to say in the justification. You know, but when you don't see that and you're just believing, you know, the number that they throw out there, it's a tough thing to justify. You know, we have to be transparent, we are, you know, and they should do the same.
Right.
So I think timing was everything. When you file a rate increase on literally on Christmas Eve, and if you remember, you know, we're regulated by the Public Service Commission. The Power Authority is not regulated by anybody. Their board gets to set their rates. So the only time we have is in this public comment, and it's public comment.
Yeah.
They can, you know, take the advice or information or not. So.
Yeah, Matt, I certainly support the resolution and appreciate your work on this. And I think this is going to be another topic that obviously we're going to have to track closely and or start some sort of communication with our ratepayers if we think the train is leaving the station to the extent as what they've at least originally proposed, almost doubling, you know, their cost between now and 2030, so.
Correct. And this is just on the hydro, you remember, which makes up the majority of what we sell.
Right.
You know, we work very hard to try to stay within our hydro allocation. You know, this is just the cost of the hydro that, you know, is going up significantly. So yeah, there'll be a lot of discussion. You know, right now they have not adopted the new rates. You know, will they by next time we meet? It's possible. As soon as we get any information, we'll pass it on. And then once they do something, we'll certainly share it with the residents. But you know, right now it's just a proposal, so it's very tough to. We have talked to the industrials. We're asking them to comment also. We did create a spreadsheet and worked with them so they have the same information.
I mean, generally speaking, how is the relationship between their board and like MEUA or any of the other players?
It comes in cycles. You know, at times it's very good, and other times it's, you know, it depends what's needed. You know, it's just, it's one of those things. We work well together. Sometimes we work better than other times.
Would we need to go for a rate case based on this, or would this automatically change?
So, how this would work if they actually implement the proposal, you know, our rate case was good for 2 years.
Yeah.
This increase was not built in, but what does flow through, this would flow through the PPAC.
Okay.
So it is, you know, we're able to true it up. So even though the cost goes up, it's not a loss for us, but it is a, you know, significant increase for our customers, and they would see that PPAC, which is already high, you know, for all those additional costs.
Okay, so it would come through in that part of the bill.
Correct.
Okay. Mayor?
So I'm gonna ask you to ask the question so that
Yep.
it shows up on the microphone.
Yep.
Has the public comment period
It has not.
So the question was, has the public comment period ended?
It has not at this point. We have about a week left of public comment.
If we
Yeah.
are to go to our ratepayers and
Yeah.
ask them to submit comments,
Mm-hmm.
how do they submit comments to so who
Yeah,
answers
yep.
that?
So if we were to ask our public constituency to make comments, how would they do that?
We can, I'd want to get a hold of the executive director of the MUA to see if they're looking for the public comment right now from the municipalities themselves, or if they're looking for thousands of individual residents. You know, I don't want to clog the system, but at the same token, I want to work with them. You know, if he feels that is a good point at this time, I mean, this is going to be spaced out over a little bit of time. We can certainly put something out on social media along with our website and ask for those comments. But it's, I would like to talk to the executive director just before I put that up on the website and ask for, you know, open comments.
Okay, and we'd want to do that quickly if.
I will
Understandable.
talk to him today.
Yep, okay.
So what I am directing the idea of this towards, if it's, they want us to gather public comments and deliver them from the municipality, we can do that via social media and the direction to a particular email address to collect them, and then they can be submitted in bulk.
Yeah.
Or if they want them directly, if we get that information, we can submit that out to public, to social media, and even through our Fairport Alert system, so that we can share how the community feels about this with NIPA, and if you would state that on the record so that it can be heard by anybody who listens to this meeting.
Yes. So, should have you come to a microphone.
I can do it right here.
Just to be sure we catch all of it.
Can you hear me? Okay, so what I'm asking is that if, in the conversation with NIPA, if they are looking for municipalities to comment, or if the public is to comment, we can put it out on social media as well as the Fairport Alert system to gather at a particular email address, public comment, and they can be submitted bulk from the municipality. Or if they want public comment directly to them, the contact information. I think it's important that our ratepayers understand and have full awareness. Certainly, we saw the reaction when the rates went up on the charging stations. This is even more important to every individual that gets electric through Fairport Electric, and they need to have the ability to comment on it if they were not aware that this is happening. And if they're looking for public comment, I'm sure we can get some for them. Thank you.
Excellent points, thank you.
So I'll talk to the executive director of the MUA today. So I want his opinion on the comment. It's not NIPA's opinion on public comment. NIPA's put out for the public comment. It's, I want to make sure that we're all doing this, you know, that helps. It just doesn't overburden the system.
I'm happy to drive the message. So
Perfect.
Rachel, you can say that.
Yes.
That the mayor is happy to drive the message to the community.
Yes, the mayor is happy to help get this message out to the community so that we can maximize the impact of our voice.
Perfect. I'll let everyone know today. Thank you.
Other questions? Comments? So I think next up would be to approve this resolution.
Correct.
So the resolution is expressing opposition to the preference power rate proposal of the New York Power Authority.
So moved. So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimous. All right, thank you. All right, next up, we have a motion to accept the December 2024 financials.
So moved.
Did we review those first?
Oh, you want to review this?
So we have the December 2024 financials as well as the January 2025 financial forecast. Both of these are fairly typical in terms of what we see this time of year. With the timing of the expenses that we start to pay for the electricity for the winter, where the rates start to come up, and we have the revenue come in a couple months later, we do see a decrease in our net profit for the year, but we do expect to make that up before the end of fiscal year in May 31st. So all of this is fairly typical. The two things that I wanted to take note of related to December was that we had a $2 million bond anticipation note that was issued as part of our meter project to fund the meter project. We're going to be rolling that bond anticipation note into a bond. I believe the plan is to roll it into another bond anticipation note in May this year and then roll it into a bond next year once the substation project is complete, as well as a project from the village side. We're going to roll it all into one bond to try to reduce the interest costs and hopefully help to cover some of the issuance costs of that as well. So as part of that, we did receive $2 million in that bond anticipation note in December, so that was why we saw a large increase in our cash. The other thing I wanted to take note of, in December, we paid our annual invoice for the New York State retirement for the employer contributions. So throughout the year, the employees make their contributions on a monthly basis to the retirement system, but on an annual basis, we pay for the retirement for the employer contributions. That's a very large bill that comes in this year. It was about $450,000. So that's a big chunk cuts into the net profit for the month of December specifically, but really it relates to the entire year. So December's never a great month in terms of our net profit, but with that said, we are planning on seeing a close to break even, if not profit, by the end of the year. In terms of January, we did see a net decrease in the cash. Again, we're paying for that as the kilowatt hour sales come up. We're going to be seeing cash continue to decrease, especially with the meters coming in a little bit early. We'll be seeing a decrease in our cash for the next 2 to 3 months, and then we'll start to see it come back up. So.
Questions, comments? Now I would entertain a motion to approve.
I will make a movement that we accept the financial reports as prepared by Holly.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Passes. Next up would be a motion to authorize the payment of the vouchers that were circulated already.
So moved.
Second.
Alright. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Our next meeting is planned for March 10. Does that work for everybody? I think. Great. Anything else we've missed? Questions?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
It's just about the communication.
Yeah. How about, would you mind coming to the microphone?
No, thank you.
You can state your name and your address, it helps with the record.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. My name is Dan Higgins. I'm a resident, 33 Miles Avenue, Fairport. Thank you for being such good stewards. That said, I do have a question about communication. I live in the village. I use an EV. I use the chargers. I pay my bill. I receive mailings. I really don't know where to look, I guess, when I'm wondering what's going on. I get the alerts. I really appreciate those. I don't think everyone knows about it. That's, I mean, one man's view from, a little place. So just looking through my end of the telescope, I don't quite know how to keep track of what's going on. So it's kind of why I'm here. So thank you very much.
Are there particular parts of what's going on that you're wondering about?
Oh, well, I'm just learning. It's fascinating, all the things about the municipal organization, MUA is what it's called?
MEUA?
MEUA, oh, see, hearing aids. Yeah, and NIPA, so it's all kind of new to me and just learning. But just as a resident, you know, I just think it's wonderful living here, and I'd like to keep track of what's happening. So I guess nothing really specific, but thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this morning.
Thank you.
Would you mind?
Thoughts, responses? Okay. All right, thank you. Appreciate your comments. All right, anything else further for today?
Hey, Rachel,
Yes.
you can give a public service message based on what Mr. Higgins had to say is
Yeah.
if you want to sign up for Fairport Alerts, it's located at the bottom of the village website, fairportny.com for now. There's signups down there at the very bottom of the page, and you can get all the information. We send it out via, we've sent that message to sign up for Fairport Alerts via our newsletters. It's in social media, so you
Okay.
can put it on mic right now.
Yep, so reminder to everyone that if you'd like to receive the Fairport alerts, there is a link at the bottom of the Fairport website, and also have been notices sent out in various newsletters and other communications. So that's fairportny.com. Okay, fairportny.com. So look at the bottom of the page there. All right. All right, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. All set, thank you.